Hey, what's up, you guys? It's Sakara Sia. See you later, but I'm seeing you right now, so you might as well stick around. And today we are going to be talking about a show that I have to admit I do quite enjoy. I occasionally rewatch. We're talking about Milo Murphy. Yeah, yeah. Let's talk about it. Let's get into it. These are a couple of things about the show that I have a conflicted relationship with. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't know if anyone else has a conflicted relationship with that show, but I do. And first off, I would like to say it's not a bad show. If you haven't watched Milo Murphy, you should go watch it. It's not a bad show. It's not a bad show. These are just a couple of the qualms I've had with the show. Um, Maybe not qualms, but just a couple different things that stood out about the show, good and bad. First, I would like to talk about Cavendish and Dakota.
Do me the honor.
Wake up! Oh, I heard this dream before. She says no. Well,
First of all, if I don't know if I give off that energy, but Dakota is literally my my favorite character in the whole show. Like he is the main reason I look at that show and go, "That was a good show." Because Dakota was just I enjoy how Dakota was written. I enjoyed how he was voice acted. He great character. Great character. I love Dakota. Very much so. But him and Cavendish and Dakota were my favorite part of the show. I would watch episodes that were them centered over and over again. They really have that dynamic that makes them very entertaining to watch. And then on top of that, I think they're th- them being like they love each other but they hate each other. It's complicated, but it's not. I love all that energy, like them having time traveling, and then certain remarks like, "Oh, he has a hot time traveling partner," and Dakota would be like, "Ouch, Cavendish! Like you hurt my feelings. Like don't hurt Dakota's feelings like that. Who said Dakota ain't hot?" I mean, like, I'm just saying, Dakota and Cavendish were that duo that I feel made the whole show. I watched the show. I don't rewatch the show as much as I want to, partially because I don't have Disney Plus, but also because they were my favorite part. Like, no offense to Milo and the whole crew, but Dakota and Cavendish were my boys. I sit there and watch them, and mainly them because I enjoyed them the most. So episodes that wouldn't have them in it as much, I'd be like, dang, those were my boys. Those are my boys. Those are my men right there. I'm watching them. I love them. I love me some Cavendish and Dakota. Them together or separately, but really Dakota. Dakota was entertaining, and it's funny to see him in the show. There were a couple times where him and Doof interacted. It's funny because they're the same voice actor, if I'm not mistaken. So it's funny to see the range of voices, but I actually prefer his Cavendish voice a lot more than his Doof voice. Cavendish, I mean his Dakota voice a lot more than his Doof voice. Dakota was just that guy, and then the islands of Dakotas, the love, the way Dakota, as stupid and chill back as you think he is, you would think he died more than Cavendish. But no, Dakota died less than Cavendish. Cavendish died all the time because he's not as aware. I think that's what it is. I don't think he's as environmentally aware of his surroundings as Dakota is. And so the whole islands, that dedication, just, yes. And so to me, they're a pairing that made the show really well. If you're gonna watch it for anything, watch it for them too, because they are that duo. They are that pair. And then the next thing about the show, other than Cavendish and Dakota, was, and this is just my personal opinion, as someone who reads and writes, but also who's looked into, I think it's Dan in Swampy's, most of his shows, such as Phineas and Ferb and even his other show. I've looked into almost every one of his shows. I've watched an episode from every one of his shows, if I'm not mistaken. To me, Milo is a bit of a flat character. Milo is a bit of a flat character, and here's why I say he's a bit of a flat character. It's not because the premise of the story is not interesting. It's a very interesting plot and very interesting premise. But Milo is very chalant about um chalant the right word? He's very casual about what happens. He's like, oh, it's just Milo's Murphy's Law. I know the whole point is like he can't control it, but I would also want him to have an opinion about the law. Like, I want him to be opinionated about his life because at the end of the day, it is his life, and he doesn't have enough of a stance on his predicament for me. Like, I know the Murphy's Law only passes down to the boys. If Sarah would have experienced it, if it passed down to the girls and Sarah would have got it, she would have been complaining all the time. And as much as I don't like complaining, that I feel like would have made him more of a character, of a stronger character. To me, he's just a bit of a flat character because he's not passionate about really anything going on in his life. Like, oh, well, I'm late to class. Oh, well, just Murphy's Law. Oh, I don't have many friends. Oh, well, that's just Murphy's Law. I'm like, dude, have an opinion. Like, talk about it. Because to me, I would have loved the episode if he was, like, sad about, like, flashback to younger him being sad before he met Melissa. And he was sad that he didn't have any friends. Like, I would have loved the episode like that because it shows that it's not just something happening to him, but it's a part of his life. You know, like, he feels very much a like a character who's just letting this happen to him. And to be fair, he can't control it, but he's not just he still has opinions about what's happening to him. Like, him being sad about not having any friends before Melissa would have been a great way to show how much the law affects him. Him being upset about maybe his dating life with Amanda because they are kind of a thing, which I kind of like. I really do. Um, Amanda don't play about her man, and I like their pairing, but I feel like there should have been a moment where, like, maybe he attempted to, like, they had some moments like that, but maybe make him passionate about what's happening. Like, to me, I feel like he didn't have enough of a say, enough of emotions when it comes to certain things that happened in his life. He's like, oh yeah, that's just Murphy's Law. Like, dude, you got abducted by aliens and you're chill. Like, be so for real. You would be crying or you would be majorly mad. If you're not crying or majorly mad, you're finding something to be. And he wasn't any of that. And I'm like, come on, Milo. Come on. To me, I feel like if they wanted to keep it the same but not change up Milo's character, maybe make Melissa's the main character. Because I think Melissa has main character energy. That may just be because I'm a female and I'm girl biased. But Melissa has main character energy. She doesn't have her mom, so already being raised by one parent gives already female energy. Two, the way she goes about things, very secretive, very stuff like she her lines also give her main character energy. To me, the show if they didn't want to change anything about Milo's character and still keep everything the same, they could have made Melissa the main character because she has that main character energy that I feel like Milo lacks, where she has opinions on things. She's very informed, but she's also very opinionated, and I feel like Milo just lacked in his opinion making and having an opinion. I know we may not all agree that Milo is somewhat of a flat character. He just is to me. Now, I'm not saying I don't still love Milo. I'm saying I would just love it more if he would talk about his opinions, especially given the fact that the law is literally his life. And I want, is it bad that I kind of want to see a 12-year-old have a tantrum? Like, I don't know how old he is. Maybe not 12. 12 is, he's not that young. But, is it bad that I kind of want to see him have emotions related to his life? Because dang, if I had Murphy's Law, surely I would be chill most of the time. But like, maybe that's just guys. Maybe guys are just not as, opinionated and emotionally charged about things that happen in their life. This just happens like that. Like, no, baby, talk about your emotions. Do you like it? Are you happy that the law happens? Are you bothered by it? Are you indifferent? You sound indifferent, but I know you can't just be indifferent. Because, like, no way you're just indifferent. Like, come on. Tell me how you feel actually about this. And then next part, I want to talk about something that I didn't see anyone else talk about this. I don't know if it's just me, but I couldn't stand Sarah. Especially when Doof was brought into the picture. Because there's a certain level of immaturity some of these adults had in this show that that level of immaturity is not in Phineas and Ferb at all. And so I'm like, this being the second Swampy show I've watched, I'm like, this level of immaturity from the adults was not in, that writing of immature adults was not in Phineas and Ferb. The most immature adult on the scene was Doofenshmirtz. Even Doofenshmirtz was not as immature as he was in this show. Him and I think Elliot both quite immature. But we're talking about mainly Doofenshmirtz and Sarah. This dynamic bothered me so much because, well, why was Doof living in their house? I did not like how they did Doof's character in this because, of course, okay, you have his evil incorporate get destroyed. That's fine. This dude has several real estates. You want to know why he has several real estates? Because he gets a fat alimony check from his wife, okay? And so this dude has several checks. He gets literally consistently from his ex-wife. And because he has that many checks he gets from his ex-wife, he buys real estate with it and flips it. That's how Doofenshmirtz gets his money. And we established that in Phineas and Ferb, that he gets his money from buying property and flipping it. And then selling his innators, if I'm not mistaken. And so you're telling me this dude didn't have another property? No, you're lying to me. Because he has his house in the suburbs, he has his island. And I know most of them got blown up in the Phineas and Ferb series, but you're telling me this dude didn't have another house? You're lying to me. And then you're gonna have him move into Miles Murphy's place? No. And then you have him arguing with a 14-year-old. Let's just talk about that. Sarah, I did not like Sarah in the first place like that. But she fits in the same category as Candace, which is annoying big sister. But I liked Candace. Sarah's a whole different can of worms. I liked her when she was with her boyfriend, but outside of with her boyfriend, I didn't really care for her. Did not really care for her. You have him arguing with a 14-year-old. Doofenshmirtz is a grown behind man who has a 16-year-old daughter. He has no business arguing with a 14-year-old. If you ask me, if you were going to have them interact, I say make Doofenshmirtz act like a grandpa, which still is kind of weird given the fact that he is not related to them in any way, shape, or form. He shouldn't have even been in the house in the first place because he has real estate, but it's still kind of weird that he's in the house in the first place. But if you're going to have him in the house, he should have had the dynamic of like a grandpa, where he kind of like sneaks his grandkids money without telling his mom, without telling their parents and being like, here, go get you something nice. You know, because Doofenshmirtz has money. Like, I don't buy Doofenshmirtz being broke for any reason at all. Sue me. But Doofenshmirtz has money. And so you're telling me that he wants to argue with a 14-year-old? Are we for real? Are we being for real? Are we being for real? He has a 16-year-old daughter. He wouldn't treat a 14-year-old girl like that because he has a daughter. And I was fine with Vanessa not being in here, but how immature they made him in this show, and it really did something to me. Like, I did not like Doof in this show at all. At least, well, maybe not at all. I didn't like him nearly as much as I did in the original. And so, to me, I don't think they should have brought Doof in. And I'm not even mad that they did, but I don't like how they did him. To me, they made him too immature. Like, he's not that immature. He may be a little butthurt because he grew up in bad family lifestyle, and how good of a guy he is, you would think he would turn out worse. But no, he's not that immature. Like, come on, do better. Do better. But that's just my 2 cents. I think some of the adults were a lot more immature than they should have been in this show. Because, like, at the end of the day, they're adults. And you can handle the situation a lot differently. I'm not opposed to the idea of Doofenshmirtz being Dr. Time, but I am opposed to him arguing with a 14-year-old and living in somebody else's house that is not his own. Because a man has real estate, and he is also a grown man with a grown daughter, with a 16-year-old daughter. He would not argue with a 14-year-old girl. And she, being 14, I could see her arguing with him and picking arguments with him. But again, why? She was just I'm on the Sarah hate train. Hey, no. But the next point that I bring is I want to talk about Zach and Melissa. That right there, that pairing right there is almost as good as Cavendish and Dakota. Zach and Melissa did their thing. Voice actors did their thing, but also, like, their energy was good. Whether they stay platonic or go in a more romantic way, their energy was good. I like their energy. Their energy, to me, is similar to that of the beginning energy of Star and Marco in Star vs. the Forces of Evil. I used to love that show. I used to watch that show. I can't say what my opinions are now because I'll probably do that in another video. But Melissa and Zach have that platonic friendship. And I like the idea that Melissa is not into Milo. Like, they can stay platonic friends. Because it is a trio where there's 2 guys and 1 girl, she can have one be platonic and one be romantic. And because of how their personalities are, I don't find that becoming weird, like, at all. Because Zach and Melissa are going to be together 10 times out of, like, very often, because they're both friends with Milo regardless of whether they were to escalate things or not. And so I adore their pairing. They're cute. I love their dynamic. I love Melissa's roughhousiness. I love her roughness. I love the energy Melissa gives. I think she's a great character. Hence why I mentioned Chidi would be good for main character earlier. To me, she's a great character. And Zach, of course, I love bro. Of course, in Solidarity, I would love him regardless. But Zach, hands down, great character. I love how they wrote him. And, they didn't go out of their way to make him black. Like, he was black, and his character was just that. They didn't go out of their way to make him do black things. I did kind of enjoy the fishing episode because fishing is oftentimes, it's not a lot of black families, but several different black families. I know fishing is one of those things that they do with their dad. Can't relate but, black families and fishing is one of those things. And so it feels, he he doesn't feel like he does the race wrong in any type of way. He feels well written. I like his character. And so Melissa and Zach, to me, good character, good combo, deserve more love. I like them on screen as well. So I didn't talk about DOG either. I love DOG. I didn't mention him much in this video, but I enjoy DOG. Asian DOG, whether he becomes an Asian or not, that's another thing. But I like the DOG shenanigans. I would have liked more of DOG shenanigans, much like I would have liked more of, what is it? Well, like I would have liked more of Cavendish and Dakota. DOG was down and tight. Now, do I consider this canon? No, I do not consider this canon. Now, you guys can say it is. I don't consider it canon because of how dirty they did Doofenshmirtz. If they didn't do Doofenshmirtz that dirty, I would have considered this canon. To me, I just feel like they did not do Doofenshmirtz any type of justice, and I just don't approve. I don't approve. But standalone, it's a good show, and I would watch another season of it. Like if they released another season today, I would watch it because I think the show has great stuff. I think the show benefits a lot, like some other shows I've watched, of fan fiction. I love a set of characters written in a different way. Set of characters I'm familiar with written in a different way. And so I think this show benefits a lot off of the fan fiction. And so I'm not opposed to a season 2. I think a season 3. A season 3 would do it good. But also, if there's not a season 3, that's fine. Because we as audience members are going to write a season ending that we feel befitting for the show and the characters. Because I don't think it's a bad set of characters. There are a couple characters I didn't mention a lot, but I actually enjoy most of the characters other than Sarah. And even Sarah, I enjoy when she's with her boyfriend. And so I have no problems with the show. I think this is a great show. And yeah, to wrap this video up, there should have been more Cavendish and Dakota. Because Milo is a bit of a flat character to me, but he's a cool guy. Not bad, just a bit flat. I would have loved to see more of him and Amanda, personally. I think that's just because I like Amanda. I like Amanda a lot. Great characters, like I said before. Great characters. I just would have benefited from maybe some alterations. Doof and Sarah, literally the worst part of the show. Very worst part of the show. No redeeming them. And then Melissa and Zach, second best part of the show. Second best duo, deserves their flowers. They did that thing. Perry was good in this too. I didn't mention Perry in this, but I like Perry in this. Like, I don't like Doof in this, but I do like Perry in this. I feel like Perry benefited from not being around his owners this time around, like Phineas and all that. I feel like he's benefited from not that. He's still a good character when Phineas and Ferb aren't around. But I do love him with Phineas and Ferb. With that being said, that's all for this video. If you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. And I shall see you later. And if you don't want to go away just yet, I'm going to say a prayer and call us out. So, God, thank you for another day. You know, some of us didn't want to wake up this morning, but we did. And we thank you for that because, you know, who knows how things would have happened if we didn't. Thank you for everything you do. Thank you for just being you. Thank you for the food on our table. You know, it might not be the best food, but you know, it's food on our table. Thank you for shoes on our feet, clothes on our backs. Thank you for everything you do. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. I shall see you later.